Hi, my name is Jacob from Landmark, and I'm going to talk to you today about our ExactApply nozzle body, how it works, and what the components of it are.
If we take a close-up look at our nozzle body, you'll see we've got a 6-position turret on the bottom, which is where all your spray tips attach to. You've got your main clamp, which is clamping the nozzle body onto the spray tube of the sprayer. Right under that clamp, you'll see we have our inlet, which is where the product is entering the nozzle body. On each side of the nozzle body, there is a solenoid. So each ExactApply nozzle body has 2 solenoids, an A and a B. That's noted by a letter on the inner side, right below the inlet, and the B side is shown here on the opposite side. The front of the nozzle body has your front indicator tube. The rear of the nozzle body has the electrical connector. When you look at the 6-position turret, you'll notice there are 3 short turrets and 3 tall turrets. So 1 through 3 are the short turrets and 4 through 6 are the tall turrets. You notice that by the height difference on these two. When we talk about product flow through this nozzle body, entering from the spray tube, the solenoids are controlling the flow of product to each of their respective turret positions on the bottom. You'll notice we've got notches here that indicate the turret is lined up with the inlets. The inlets of the turret are lined up with the output of the nozzle body on the inside, which we'll show you when we take the nozzle body apart. And then same on the back, it's the square for the back portion. If we move on then to disassemble the nozzle body, we can remove the retaining clips, which allows us to slide off the solenoids. And from there we can remove the stems that contain the poppets. Now looking at the stem itself, we can take this stem apart. This top black cap can unscrew from the stem. And inside that stem you would then find the poppet and a spring. And so this poppet is what is moving from that solenoid and controlling the product through the nozzle body. And there are 2 of these per nozzle body. On these stems, you'll see there are several O-rings. We've got a back O-ring here, an inner O-ring, your main outside O-ring for sealing into the nozzle body, and then this top O-ring, which seals into the inlet. On the bottom of the nozzle body, there's a retention clip that you can remove in order to remove the 6-position turret. If we take a look at this turret again, we'll notice our short versus our tall. If we look on the inside of that nozzle body, you'll see on the short turrets, there is only a single lower port. And on the tall turrets, there are 2 inlets. And this is important when we take a look then at the main portion of the nozzle body. Our front having 2 ports that product can flow out of. The back only having the top port open. And the bottom port is plugged. So how these line up is we've got our A solenoid and stem, feeds the lower port, which is only available on the front. And you have your B solenoid and stem that can feed either the front or the back position through the top port. So if we think about product flowing through, A flows in from the inlet through the stem on the A side, and then only to the bottom port on the front of the nozzle body. B flows from the inlet through the B stem and can either go to the front or back port depending on the position of the turret. We'll have a separate video where we talk about all the ExactApply modes and how the modes relate to the position of the turret and what each mode can provide for you in your operation. When it comes to the electrical components of a nozzle body, we have our main an 8-pin connector which hooks to the harness on the boom, and this is how the nozzle body receives power and receives its commands to pulse. We've got a connector for each of the solenoids. You'll see here we've got 2 pins that go to each solenoid, and on the solenoid itself there is the other end of the receptacle that receives those commands for the pulses. On the bottom of the nozzle body we've got a white cap. This is a permanently sealed cap from the factory, and there is a LED light on the bottom of this nozzle body. That light can be used to illuminate the spray pattern, to be able to see the spray pattern at night or in low lighting conditions, to ensure you don't have any plugged tips. They can be set to either pulse or stay on constantly. They can also be lit manually for working on the boom at night, cleaning tips, being able to have additional light out there. And then they can also be lit for diagnostic purposes, which we'll cover in a later diagnostic video.
If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video or reach out to your nearest Landmark location. Talk to your CTS or your service department for any sort of configuration, optimization, or diagnostic needs.